Hope you guys can see my screen. So let's begin the webinar. So basically, before I begin this, I'll just give a brief introduction about myself. So I am a co-founder of two performance marketing related startups. One is Ekamoira and the other is digital marketing, digital ROI. So both delve into performance marketing as startups. So before I began in this journey as an entrepreneur in this entire field of digital marketing, I initially started my career as a business analyst in digital marketing in the company called Socrates. It's a startup based in Pune. It got recently acquired by Merck, which is like a international conglomerate for all different kinds of agencies. And moving on, I also worked for a year in the healthcare sector in investment banking for UBS. So basically, I have worked in finance as well as digital marketing. So, and this is the field which attracted me the most. So I can assure you guys, if you guys are thinking about beginning your career in digital marketing, it's one of the most amazing things to be in, both in terms of growth as well as in terms of, you know, fun, right? So there's a great element of fun in this entire career. So if you guys have any questions in middle of this presentation, do put it like on the chat. I'll be addressing them one by one towards the end. Cool. So what is digital marketing? Let's first answer that question. So digital marketing is anything that encompasses all marketing that uses an electronic device or the internet. So businesses now can leverage different digital channels as search engines, which you know as Google or Bing, you know, right? As well as there's different search engines present in China and Russia. Those, then the social media, which is like the Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, everything. All of those channels can be leveraged for your marketing efforts. Then comes the email, which is one of the oldest mediums of digital marketing. And trust me, even till now, it's one of the highest ROI generating platforms. So what ROI is basically return on investment. If you spend $1 or 1 rupee for your digital marketing efforts, what is that return that you expect or that you get finally on that dollar or a rupee? That ratio is your return on investment. You can, there are multiple ways of calculating it, but we won't be going into that for now. And coming to other parts of digital marketing, anything related to websites, content, everything. So it's a huge thing where you have organic, paid, different levels to it and layers to it. Right? So we'll be addressing. Now coming to digital marketing is basically anything that can be quantified in terms of your marketing efforts, right? So in the older traditional forms of marketing, you weren't able to quantify it to an extent, right? So if today you put a billboard, let's say in one area of NCR, you have no idea about how many people are actually visualizing it and whether it's leading to any kind of a conversion on your website or an app. There are no direct methods to it, right? So there's always an indirect method to calculate it. But again, here it's not, quantifiable to an extent. On the other hand, digital marketing is definitely quantifiable, and it's there lies why it's great as far as a career perspective is concerned. Now coming to the top 10, you can say subcategories or categories in which you can have your career in digital marketing. So one is SEO. You might have heard about SEO time and time again. SEO is search engine optimization. It's basically all the organic results that you see on Google, right? For which you don't have to pay anything to Google. That's like SEO for you, right? Then comes content marketing. So all these big brands, right? They always need a story to tell. So anything that you need to sell, you need to have a story for it, right? Whether be it Pepsi, Cola, KFC, any brand, you pick up any case study for any brand into how has it grown, you will always find there's always a story behind what the person wants to tell about the brand, right? And the story is something which resonates with humans at a very personal level. And if you can do that with your brand, that's how you can grow it, like, phenomenally. So content marketing is very important from that perspective. Then comes your SMM, which is the social media marketing. social media marketing it's a very, very powerful tool in terms of performance marketing. uh, I'll give you an example. So when we used to work in Socrates, there used to be one entire floor for performance marketing, in which there were around 7 to 8 pods. Or pods are like, huge tables in which a particular team used to sit. So when we began in 3 years, 4 years down the line, it used to be just 2 pods for social media marketing and 6 pods for Google marketing, right? And it completely changed so over the years, and now it's the reverse now. So that's how spends have got diverted towards social media marketing, because it's a very, very powerful tool to get all your impulsive buys from customers, right? And then comes the pay-per-click models, PPC campaigns. You might have heard about it. It's mostly refers to what you see on Google, right? The Google PPC campaigns, right? You might have heard about Google AdWords. So that's where you bid for a particular keyword on Google. So let's say you bid for, buy shirts online, and you say that you ask Google that if someone is searching for this particular keyword, I would want my ads to be run. I want my ads to be shown, and I'm going to bid a particular amount for a click. Then comes affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing is mostly in form of different websites on which you can have dedicated ad spots, right? Mostly for branding purposes. It doesn't help that much in terms of performance per se, but yes, it's again a very, very vast and all-encompassing form of marketing. Then is the native advertising. You might have heard about Taboola and Outbrain, which if you go to a website like NDTV or Times of India, you would find a dedicated articles, right? Like 10 ways to, boost your career, 10 ways to, perform well in business. And all of these articles are from a content perspective. And also these are advertisements. They divert the traffic to a particular landing page, over which you would find that there's something actionable in terms of either e-commerce or from a lead gen or a lead generation perspective, right? And then comes a very important and it's a very nascent, but you can say it's ever growing field of digital marketing, which is the marketing automation. So marketing automation in forms of right from your mails to the form of your SMSs. So recently WhatsApp is going to get open up for marketing as well. So you'll have WhatsApp APIs. You can work on WhatsApp APIs to send dedicated messages, right? Then comes obviously email marketing. So you have different tools like MailChimp, in which you can schedule your different mails in a buyer's journey. So for example, if you're dealing with a real estate client, or you're dealing with a client like Tanishq, or for goods which are very high in terms of value, so any person would take a lot of time before he or she actually purchases the product. So the time from the thought buy this to the final purchase happening, there's a huge time period between that. So that's why you definitely need to have your email marketing plan ready in terms of content. You don't want to bore the person, but you would want that person to get engaged, right? The more engaged that person is, the faster the entire decision cycle. Then obviously the online PR is like something which has always been there and will always be there, right? So online PR, I mean, different people, different brands, different celebrities have requirement, even musicians for now have a requirement for maintaining a positive image. So there are different tools in terms of sentiment analysis for the tweets, for the comments and everything. So you can always find and analyze and engage in terms of what content they're posting, in terms of what content is garnering them the maximum out of it, right? So, and the last is inbound marketing. Inbound marketing is a very, very important uh, segment of digital marketing. It's a way in which you do it. So for inbound marketing, if you guys have further interest, I would request you to go for a certification available on Udemy, free of cost. It's by HubSpot, and I think it's on inbound marketing. So you'll have a great idea about what it is. It basically means that instead of you uh, like pushing ads to a person, you do a pull kind of a stuff in which you make sure that you create a demand and then you cater to a demand, rather than just selling and selling, right? So now to the next slide, you'll understand why digital marketing is important, because just like I showed you, right, there are different forms of marketing, different categories and subcategories, and that results basically in an endless possibility for a brand to have all these different permutations and figure out what is working best for them. Because ultimately, any form of marketing that you do needs to be, you have to spend money, and that money needs to generate further business for you. So uh, there are endless possibilities and permutations available in terms of what tools and what ammunition you need for getting the best out of for your brand or for your company or for any product that you have that you want to sell, right? So that's why this entire field requires a lot of industry experts and for you to be the best in what you do. And that's why there's a huge opportunity in terms of job. The industry rate is growing at 25 to 30% in India, where you can see the GDP has fallen down to what, 4%, right? So that is the growth as far as this field is concerned, right? And even in 2021, the Indian internet traffic is estimated to be around 300x of what it was, 15 years back, right? So which speaks volumes about what the possibilities are for this field. And even if I tell about the economy of India right now, you might hear the only sector which is doing actually pretty well is the services sector. And services sector is, digital marketing is part of that, and it's adding a lot of value to it, right? So why is actually this field, it's why is it that so many people looking up to it? Is actually simple because of the cost advantage that digital marketing offers over traditional form of marketings, right? So on the traditional form of marketing, you would, this is just a chart, it's made by I think Forbes, I think. So you need to spend, it's based on US scenario, right? So the cost to reach 2,000 audience, right? If you notice, for direct mail, it's comes down to around $900, for magazines 500, newspapers to 250, broadcast $150. But on digital front, right, it's very less. Social networking, it's $75, search $50. It's just an overall comparison. So it's basically the more easier it's the more, and the more cost effective that reaching out becomes, the long run you get advantage in terms of selling, because every value, every rupee, every dollar counts, and you don't want to spend it and to just reach a very few amount of people or not relevant people. So it's very important that you reach a lot many people and lot many relevant people. That's where experts in this field are required, and that's where you can learn and actually make yourself much industry experts and job ready in terms of, and career ready in terms of digital marketing, right? So what, if you want to make a career in digital marketing, what primarily should you expect? So basically I would say that there are three kinds of roles. One is a very technical kind of role like SEO managers. The other is a little creative kind of role like social media managers. And lastly, the third kind of role which I would like you to stress about, like inform you about, is uh, the analytical kind of a role, right? So it's up to you whether you think that you're someone who needs to be, who likes to be like a lot of informative and very technically sound, or whether you're someone who's very creative and want to do something like a lot more creative. And the third kind is if you're very good with numbers, you like number crunching. So you digital marketing caters to all these different kinds of personas or different kinds of jobs that you would want, right? So in that respect, so let's talk about SEO manager, right? So SEO manager, the main KPIs are like organic traffic versus overall traffic versus organic versus paid bounce rate. So these KPIs which I've kept here, you can make a note of it. These are like important technical terms which you would want to know if you go into this particular field, right? So uh, especially for social media manager, what are impressions, what are keep followers and website traffics and stuff like that. That's something that you need to know. But in terms of business analysts, the main KPIs the are the CTRs and things like that. So e-commerce conversion rate is a very important metric. What e-commerce conversion rate is basically you know uh, how many people actually purchase versus how many people are like clicking on that product. So that rate is something that you need to improve on. So it's huge in terms of what technical jargons that you can remember. Now, moving on to how do you actually do this, right? How do you actually start your career or get yourself informed, and how do you begin? So, I would just spell out a few tips that I have. So, right now, I've told you what digital marketing is, and what it's going to entail in terms of what are the different personas in terms of jobs and everything, and why is it a booming you know thing for you to be in. Now, let's say if you decide today that okay, you want to be a business analyst, or you want to be a social media manager or a SEO manager. How do you do that? So there are two kinds of profiles you might be in. Either you're a complete fresher, either you're just out of college, or you're just in college, or you have a certain experience in a different field and you want to switch into digital marketing. So I would say for both, it's actually the path is going to be a little different. So you can always book a direct consultation with me, in which I can actually tell you exactly what is going to be your path in terms of as a fresher versus, let's say, if you have an experience profile. But this webinar is about making a keeping a uniformity in terms of what to expect. So from this, it's going to be like an overall perspective. So the first pointer, which is valid for both people who are in a complete fresher role versus complete who are into have a little experience. The first part is to be updated about what this industry is, right? So you need to be, this industry is so dynamic that 1 year it changes everything, right? I mean, the today's technology is not going to be the same 1 year down the line. So, and I'll give you an example, right? So TikTok is something which is a new entrant into this block. So TikTok was not supposedly, this was frowned upon initially by the traditional, like a typical digital marketers in terms of what performance is going to give you. But trust me, I mean, the recent case studies have shown that it has garnered billions of likes, and it has actually resulted in a lot of positive ROI for many brands, which means that even people who were industry experts in digital marketing now have to learn what TikTok is going to be about. So that's where it's so important for you to keep yourself updated about how the industry is shaping out and how it's changing, right? So just like TikTok is from a video perspective, you have Spotify coming up from, and you're going to have audio ads there, right? So entire industry is very dynamic and very it's so that's why it's so important for you to keep yourself updated. And if you want to be an industry, you want to follow this industry, you have to follow the industry experts as well. You have to follow the industry news. You have to follow the influential people on social media, right? On different kinds of media, because if you are in for a wild ride, you have to be on top of the latest changes. If otherwise you'll be like in for a wild ride if you're not, because this field is so dynamic that if you're not updated for even a month, I mean, then God help you, because that's how dynamic it is. And I cannot understress this fact. So the tips are to follow blogs on SEO, PPC, social media content. So I'll be listing down to you the different blogs that you can actually follow. And based on that, you can always be updated in terms of digital marketing. Now, coming to the next point is your personal branding. So if you are fancying yourself as a digital marketing hotspot, but if you don't have a visible online presence, it's a very sad story, because that's where you need to build your profile. So you need to join networking groups, you need to start blogging yourself, and you need to be present in a kind of a networking, a close group in terms of industry experts, digital marketers, because you need to know what's happening in the industry, right? And you need to contribute your personal in your personal capacity whatever you can for digital marketing, right? So that's where personal branding is so important, right? And you need to have a strong online presence in terms of that. So uh, if say tomorrow for an HR has two profiles, one is a strong uh, profile in terms of digital marketing, right? The person has written a lot of blogs in his own personal capacity, and the other one who has not. So it's a very easy choice then for the HR, right? Now, coming to the next point is find a mentor. So I think What's Your Chase is doing great in terms of that. So you can have dedicated mentors in terms of, SEO or PPC, any kind of stuff that you want here. And you can actually follow that mentor, ask him for advice. And, the best thing is to learn from their mistakes as well, right? So it's so going to be so important for you that that you need to follow a mentor. So the very important part here is that you should never shy away from asking questions, because questions are something that is going to actually make it clear for you. So it's better to ask questions and get it clarified rather than waiting in ignorance. So you need to have an eagerness to learn and to unlearn whatever you know, any misconceptions that you had about this field. If you go to a mentor, he can clear it up for you, he or she, right? So you need to find a mentor, and this platform is great for that purpose, right? So find book a consultation and make a plan with that mentor as to how do you pursue it. Put some tangible goals there, right? Plan for a quarter, like exactly how do you build your skills, what to expect, what not to expect, what should you not do, what you should not do is something that only a mentor can help you with. Because what you should do, I mean, there are a lot of articles available on the internet, but mistakes is hardly, like, few people talk about it. So it's very important that you do that. This concept is something that is I cannot understress it. It's called the T-shaped marketer concept. So basically, as a digital marketer, you need to have a basic knowledge of horizontal profiles, right? So in terms of basic email, PPC, display, video, HTML, UX, UI, UX, and social, everything it is. But you need to just take one particular category of digital marketing and go further detail and in depths into it, right? So that's very important. So that's what the T-shaped marketing concept is. And in this particular example, if you notice, there's this HTML, UI, UX, UI, SEO, right? So in that SEO, you can see there is something called an on-page optimization, earning links and shares, making site search friendly, and different further subcategories to SEO. So if you want to know about SEO, you have to be very good at it. But even though if you are an SEO analyst, even though SEO is your bread and butter, you need to have basic idea about what a PPC campaign is. How does PPC work? How does blogging and community help you? How does content help you, right? That's so important. So this entire concept is about being a T-shaped marketer, in which you're not just aware about the basics, but take one subcategory and go as detailed into it. So that's your vertical expansion of your knowledge. And so this is the part where you need to get a little nerdy in terms of the vertical expansion of your knowledge. You need to know exactly all the basic terminologies and everything that you like can be there. And lastly, the third point is, if it's possible for you guys to learn a bit of coding, it's going to help you like in ways you cannot understand. I mean, coding is let's say the skeleton of everything that's there online. So if you can know a little bit of HTML, JavaScript coding, it's actually going to help you a lot. And I'll give you an example why I'm saying this. Because uh, compared to US, right, the other markets in the world, even European markets, are not that developed in terms of digital marketing, right? So if you guys want to even not just stay in India, if you guys want to go abroad, let's say in European countries or in Australian countries or in the Middle East, right, these countries aren't developed as far as digital market is concerned to an extent US has developed, right? And in US, there's a concept of data tracking, and through which there's a concept of Google tag management, Google Tag Manager, which is so important a skill to have if you are into performance marketing. You need to account for every data tracking, any minutest form of data tracking that's possible on the website, and every change that you make on the website should be accounted for from a numbers perspective. Let's say if you want to change your buy now button to an purchase now button, is there a science to it? Are there numbers supporting that hypothesis that you have? And everything, that's where uh, conversion rate or optimization or tracking is important. Because if you don't know how to track, you won't be able to make these A/B tests, right? And if you don't make A/B tests, you're not an A plus digital marketer. So if you need to be an A plus digital marketer, you need to be aware of a little bit of basic coding, right? So that's where JavaScript or HTML, if you know, it's going to help you a lot, especially in terms of Google Tag Manager or in terms of uh, online basic coding. I mean, in terms of website, what to track, what not to track, how to track it. So even if you have a tech team, dedicated tech team, which you'll have in big agencies, even then, even if you have to get them to work, you need to know exactly what questions to ask, and otherwise it's going to be a little difficult in terms of what to expect. Now coming to the next part, this is very, very, very important. Get certified. Now what do I mean by get certified? I don't mean that you join any Tom, Dick and Harry course and get certified, or anywhere so the market is flooded with digital marketing certifications, which is not what I'm advising. I'm advising something that you need to be very sharp and precise with what you want. So you can always book a consultation in terms of what you want, whether you want to be an SEO analyst or whether you want to be in performance marketing or someone in content and different fields of digital marketing. But catering to that, you need to know what certifications you need. So let's say if you want to go for PPC in terms of Google, you need to be AdWords certified, and not just AdWords certified from an exam perspective or just to show. You need to know about what it actually means, right? So that is very important. But let's say if you want to be great in content marketing, that's where HubSpot inbound certification is important. So let's just like that, there are many uh, like proper certifications programs available. Even for Amazon marketing, there is the Amazon sponsored ad certification. So these certifications help you in one, to understand exactly what that tool is about, and second, it makes you a very good candidate to have. So if tomorrow a recruiter has two options between a candidate who's actually Google or Amazon or Facebook certified versus someone who is not, who, or let's say someone from any has a normal certification from somewhere. I mean, there's always going to be difference in terms of the knowledge, and if there's a difference in terms of knowledge, there's a difference in terms of performance and your job as so. That's where it's so important to be certified in the right kind of structure and in a right kind of field. You can always come to me directly if you have a particular question regarding it. I can always answer that, right? So this is very important. And like I told you, right, initially I told you about personal branding. If you're certified and if you have those certifications mentioned on your LinkedIn profile, it always helps, because these days not just the typical internship or job portals like Naukri or Internshala and things like that, HRs are looking into your LinkedIn profiles a lot, and a lot of recruitment happen through LinkedIn. So it's very important that you maintain a good profile and with good blogs written by yourself on what you felt when you did your Google ad certification and things like that. So that's always going to have an make make you give an edge to your profile. And if you have a edge, right, in terms of a profile, the chances of not just getting a job, the chances of doing well in your job increases exponentially. So coming to one more important point. Now I've told you, given you the basic tips. Now what are my blog recommendations? These are my blog recommendations. I would like you to make a note of these things. For SEO, Moz is something. I mean, I personally follow Moz a lot. Then there's Distill. Then there's SEO Gadget. There's Search Engine Land. For PPC, for Google AdWords, there's PPC Heroes. For social media, there's Social Media Examiner, the Social Media Today. There's always also a great guy called John Loomer. You can also follow John Loomer for social media. For content, you can follow HubSpot, you can follow John Loomer also for sometimes. So there are dedicated blog recommendations that is there for different fields in terms of digital marketing. These are the top four categories and the recommendations based on the top four categories. Please make a note of this and do go back and start following these blogs. They should be your the go-to gurus that you have in terms of content. And you can also do one thing: you can read a blog every day, and in the end of the week you can actually write down what you have learned from those blogs. And that learning, or that can be your personal blog as well. So not just you learn, you also do your personal branding and you share your learning with others. that's going to help and create a circle of good for you, right? So that's very important from your learning perspective and from your personal branding perspective as well. Now I have also a very important tip for those people who want to join big agencies like Denso Aegis or Socrates, or let's say any big agency in terms of performance marketing in India. It's very, very, very important for you to brush up your basic maths and aptitude for interviews, because not just certifications. The first round is always a technical round in terms of your basic knowledge about your percentages. It's like giving cat, not giving cat, because cat is like much tougher than what you should expect in these exams. But yeah, basic level of aptitude is required for these kind of jobs, because they involve numbers, and more than numbers, they involve money, and they involve money of your clients. And as a practice, you have to be a digital marketer who values the money of a client as your own. So just like you guys, like I mean every one of us, we are very particular about where we spend our money, right? And in terms of return or in terms of investment, the same applies for your client as well. So tomorrow if you are maintaining account for a client, you need to be accountable for all that amount of money that there's involved. And if you're good with numbers, you can actually make much more faster calculations, both in terms of optimizations and both in terms of where to put the money and where to spend it for getting the maximum return on investment, or getting the maximum return on the ad spends. And that's why you need to have great number crunching, not great, but yeah, a basic number crunching skills ready for your interviews, right? And in terms of also aptitude for interviews, the basic questions like and everything, I mean, case studies, you can always come back to me exactly about my past interview experience and stuff like that. I can help you with that, but keep yourself ready. Follow Quora as well. Quora and other blogs in which you can find interview questions related to a particular theme. That's my recommendation from there. So I hope that these basic tips, you can make a dynamic career for yourself in digital marketing. So for any more information that you guys need, any particular question that you would like me to answer, especially if you would like me to your profile and help you make strategic and focused goals in terms of your career, you can always come to me for a consultation directly, and I'll be like more than happy to answer all of it. So now I'm going to answer all your questions one by one, right? So if you guys have any question, you can always ask me directly. Yeah, so Asus OTD I think has asked, digital marketer has to be expert in all these fields or just one specialization is needed? Yeah, obviously just one specialization is needed. That's what the concept of the T marketer is. The word part is that one specialization jobs that is needed. You need to be detailed in terms of what you need to know. But in terms of knowing other fields is also important. That's what horizontal part of that T is. You need to know a basic about other fields as well, other subcategories and categories as well. So Shubham has a question: how do I start a digital marketing business when I'm a fresher? So Shubham, I think your question is very particular. I think you can come to me director in terms of what business, online marketing business you want to start, and exactly what your background and everything is, so that I can give you better advice of how do you should you do it, should you go about it, because this is a very personal question that you have. So I would like to know more about your background. So you can always ask Ayur how to reach me personally on this. I would be more than happy to help you. So I think one more question is, how after the webinar, do you provide a certificate on the mail or that we attended this webinar? And can you send us a recorded webinar on mail? I think this is an answer I think Ayur can answer for you guys. You can reach out to Ayur for this. Hemant has a question. Hemant couldn't attend the beginning of the webinar. So is there a way to replay the webinar? I couldn't join like big network issues. I think Hemant, there would be an audio recording, but more than that, we would be doing this time and time again. So to help more new people to how to build their career in digital marketing, and you can also book a direct consultation with me if you have any particular thing in mind, right? Bhagyashri has a question. Can we do digital marketing by doing MBA or PGDM? And can you tell us how you started this? Okay, Bhagyashri, MBA, obviously, watch a chase, you will have dedicated webinars to why should you do an MBA and stuff. But personally, I mean, my experience is that if you want to do an MBA, I mean, I personally have a feeling that you should do it abroad rather than here in India, because I look at it from an ROI perspective when I look at the median salaries and everything. But someone else's perspective might be different. But in terms of digital marketing, MBA is not a sufficient. I mean, a necessary requirement for you to have, because my background is I've done my engineering. I've done my BTech from NIT Durgapur. So I am a complete engineer, and after that I like applied for Merkel Socrates and applied through jobs and everything. So you don't need to be an MBA for this, and you can always come to me directly. I might have to look at what your personal profile and what your history, performance, your personal profile, right, to understand exactly how is it better for you, whether it's going to be whether MBA is an option for you right now or not, because that would be a little much more detail which I would need to know about you. So you can come to me for that later. Shubham, I want to start my okay. So Shubham, I think I've already answered your question. I need to know exactly what your business is all about, what your background is, and everything. So uh, before I can actually help you on that. But as a fresher, if you want to build a career in digital marketing, I think you should follow the tips which I have kept. It's about being updated. It's about finding a relevant mentor to guide you with what not to do. It's about getting all the certifications done. It's about getting yourself aptitude ready in terms of what interview questions to expect, and if there's a dedicated dream job of yours, if there's a dream company of yours, you can always yourself accordingly. Can I start blogging as a full-time career? Someone has asked. I think I can't see the name, but yeah, you can actually start blogging as a full-time career as well. It depends on your passion, whether you're because blogging is something that it's if you want to look at it as a full-time career, you have to be a big time influencer in that particular field. It can be anything. It can be photography, it can be digital marketing, it can be cricket, it can be as versatile as anything. I mean, but you need to be very passionate about it, and you have to be an industry expert, a thought leader. If not an expert, you have to be a thought leader in terms of that particular field is concerned. So blogging can definitely be a full-time career, but I would need to know more about what you exactly mean by it. So Nirbhay is saying that which digital marketing tools you use to send emails, like the one you used to send for this webinar. I think Ayur can answer this question. Mostly, my guess is that these guys use Mailchimp. Mailchimp is one of the best that we have in terms of, and it's I think a US based company. So yeah, Mailchimp, I think so, but it could also be Zoho. Zoho is like an Indian version of it's like a little cheaper one, but I think it's either Mailchimp or Zoho. But both are equally good in what they have, right? I mean, it depends on what your requirement is, Nirbhay. Based on that, you need to make a decision on what tool to use. Now, Shankar has a question. I've finished my graphic design course and FB ads and going on with Google ads. I do not have a proper goal for my job role and all. What course should I learn more? Now, Shankar, this is a very personal question that you have asked, like about your different courses that you've done, and still like you're asking for a proper goal. So for this, I need to know about your background and everything. So you can always book a direct consultation with me, and I need to know exactly. I would be like more than happy to help you in terms of that. So I think let's meet again, right? And because it's great to know that you've done courses, but I just need to know exactly whether you're not making those mistakes that normally people make about going for everything but not being good in one thing. So that T-shaped marketer is very important. Even though if you know everything, you need to know one particular thing in a very, very detailed and a very expansionist kind of a way. So it's very important as far as that is concerned. Now, there's a question currently, which is the best platform to run products on. So, Mohit, I do not understand this question correctly. I mean, best platform to run product. Which product are you talking about, and what do you want to run? So, if you could elaborate on the question, I would be more than happy to help. Or you can always book a one-to-one meeting with me as well. So, I think Ayur has shared a link. You guys can save it. So Ayur has said that he's going to mail you a recorded link of this webinar over mail, and we'll do it again in January. So in case if you guys have missed any the first part, or in case you have friends who are looking for this for a change of their career or a career in digital marketing, you can also tell them to join maybe in January as well. And there's going to be a mail. So in order to book a one meeting with me, you can use this link which is there available. Yeah, Swati, can we reach out to you for consultation? Yes, you can use that link which Ayur has sent, and I would be more than happy to help you guys. Mohit has a question: how to set audience for ads so that there is maximum ROI? Mohit, this $1 million question on how to get the maximum ROI. This needs a detailed discussion on that. So there'll be multiple questions that I need to ask, right? What is the goal that you're looking at? What's the product you're selling? What's your geography, right? And things like that. There's going to be there's going to be top 20, 30 questions that I need to ask before I answer that question about how you want to manage your ROI. So obviously there is a way of making audiences for ads depending on what channels you are using, whether you're using Google channels, so you can make audiences analytics, and you can audiences through Google AdWords. If you're using Facebook and Facebook, right? So you can make audience through Facebook ads, like Audience Manager, or you can actually use Facebook Analytics for making audiences. Similarly, for Quora, there's a method audiences. There is a method in like if you're using LinkedIn, you can use a pixel on the website and you can make audiences. So there's no one answer to this question. It depends on what medium you want to use, what is your product, what is the goal that you're looking at. So there's going to be this is for a discussion for another day, or you can reach out to me directly if you have anything else in mind. Someone is asking Ayur if you provide a certificate on mail that we attended this webinar. Okay, so I think Ayur will reply to it. Shankar has a question that I've completed Photoshop, FB ads, and ongoing is Google ads, and I need to have a proper goal as far as my job role is concerned, and what course should I learn more. So Shankar, it's great to know that you've done your courses on Photoshop, FB ads. So I guess that's the concept of being a T-shaped marketer. So I can see that horizontally you've done a lot of stuff, but I would like to know exactly for you to set up a goal. I need to know more about what is that one particular subcategory in which you want to expand vertically, right? So I think we can have a personal one-to-one consultation later and discuss this further. Now Nidhi has a question. Please tell me about the Google Ads Academy and go ahead with certification. Nidhi, this is I think the best question so far. She has a very dedicated question about Google Ads Academy. I think Google Ads Academy now has a new name. So that's why Google keeps updating that. And so how do you go about it? You can go about different certifications that you find on it. But I would personally recommend for you to know AdWords, get AdWords certified in search, display, and to a certain extent mobile, because these three are the main ROI generators. And in mobile, it's only the UAC campaigns or the universal app install campaigns which actually matter. But definitely that. And if you have a good basic knowledge in these, then we can talk about you getting certified for Google Analytics. But before you go for Google Analytics, you need to make sure that your basic concepts in terms of AdWords is very good and it's very sound. Otherwise, you won't do justice to both of these certifications, right? So you can always come to me directly if you for me to know exactly what your basic knowledge is there in terms of Google Ads and stuff currently. Molika has a question: which city in India is the best to start their digital marketing career? So, Molika, I think in terms of city, the best cities to be in for your digital marketing career, there is actually two answers to it. One, if you actually look at the nature of this profile, you don't need to be present in any particular city, because you can do it equally good from any remote area anywhere in the world. You can still do this. But realistically speaking, the best cities are obviously Bangalore, Pune, Hyderabad, Delhi NCR, Mumbai. So you need to select whichever city is convenient for you in terms of where you can I mean considering different your personal what options that you have, and you can decide on one particular city, and you can then target the agencies that are present in that particular city. So we have good agencies all around India, I mean different cities. So we have good agencies in Pune, we have good agencies in Mumbai, in Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad. So I mean, everywhere we do have good agencies. Like in Pune, we have Ekamoira, we have Digital ROI. In Mumbai, we have iProspect. We have different kinds of agencies. In NCR, we have Lime Tray, and like there are different kinds of agencies, right? In Bangalore, there are much more. So it depends on where you want to build your career in, and you can always uh, do that back calculation. Okay, this is the city I want to be in, and these are the agencies that you have. So you can either go with the city first and then the company option, or you first decide on this is the company in India which I want to be in, and then you decide on the city that you live in. So you can go either ways, because it's a completely coming, and it's all the companies are growing at a good rate. So uh, you need to just do a little background research as far as what your personal aspirations are in terms of what is your current goal in terms of both your professional and your personal life. You need to strike a balance between both of it, right? The Swati is, how do I reach to you for consultation? The Swati, I think Ayur has shared with you guys a link. You can always book to me for a direct consultation. Then Sayed has a comment: thank you for a nice presentation, I'll call you later. Thanks a lot, Sayed. I think if you love the presentation, I would be waiting uh, for your call. It'd be great to know that you liked it. Molika, which is the best city? So I think, Molika, I've answered your question. I won't spell out any city, one city on the other. So personally, for me, I'm from Calcutta. I love my city of Calcutta, but I also love Pune because that's where I'm working in. And I love Bangalore in terms of what exposure you can have in Bangalore. And obviously, you have Cyber City in Gurgaon, right? So every city has its own advantages and disadvantages, right? But so you can do either of two. You can either decide on which company you want to be in, and then apply for it, that company, and then go to the city that you want to be based on that company. So that's for the company first and the city second kind of approach. Or you go for the city first and then the company kind of an approach. So you decide, okay, so I'm from Andhra Pradesh or Hyderabad, Telangana, so I want to be in Hyderabad. So in Hyderabad, I first look at the cities and I mean the agencies that are there in Hyderabad, and then I apply for it. And based on that, I decide on which company I want to be in, right? So either of the approaches works. Sayed is asking, are you a digital marketing expert? Yes, I would rate myself. I would rate myself as one, but more than that, I rate myself as someone who is uh, uh, I keep learning about digital marketing, and I'm an expert in terms of Google is concerned and Facebook is concerned. I have been managing spends more than 500 millions of dollars per month for my German clients as well currently. So we started with just Germany as a country, with which we have expanded to now not just Germany, France, the entire Western Europe is concerned, right? And then we got the Scandinavian countries, then the Balkan countries, then the Norwegian countries. Before that, I was working for clients like Tata Sky and Tolexo in Socrates, and I've also worked for Marks and Spencers, the European and the Scotland division of it for marketing, and also have clients based in US. So yeah, I've worked across geographies. The only geography that I would love to work in is maybe somewhere in Japan or the eastern part of it. right? That's the only geography which I haven't worked so far. Otherwise, I've worked globally in terms of accounts as well as in geographies and in terms of products. I've sold insurances, sold real estate things, and I've sold jewelry and light from B2B machines to as niche as, let's say, raw or organic honey. So I have an experience in all of these stuff. Yeah, and you can ask me directly about any particular niche that you want to. And my expertise is e-commerce. I am really good in terms of e-commerce, and I personally I also know a little bit of coding. So uh, we I know a little bit of Google tracking and everything. That's my forte as well. To understand what my forte is, you can actually go to my website, which is ekamoira.com, and the services that we offer is all of my personal forte or niche that I have. Now, Ayur has given an answer to the question of we use our own server and we use Mailchimp as well, right? So they have a balance of both, right? Okay, Bhagyashree has a very, 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 the best question so far. The questions keep getting better and better. She's asking how much money do you make as a digital marketer, right? So in the initial years, Bhagyashree, digital marketing as a career is very exponential in terms of what you make. I can tell you a typical business analyst salary when you join any startup as a business analyst. The salary that you draw is 35,000 per month, 33 to 35,000. So what I'm expecting is a CTA of 4 LPA. That's where you start. And then when you become a senior BA, normally you get from anything from 6 to 8 LPA. And then when you become a manager, you get somewhere 8 to 10 or 12, depending on the city. And then there's further, like, where you become VP, SVP, and like sky's the limit for that, right? So that's what it is. But I can say that the median or the average salary would be anything what from 5 to 6 LPA when you start your career, right? uh then someone is asking, in a small city, how do you start your digital marketing career of any shop? So I didn't catch her name. So like I told you, right, doesn't it's not location specific anymore. We're living in a very globalized world, so you can start from anywhere. But for that, I need to know about your personal background as to what your experience is, and based on that, you can actually make data driven goals and proper goals as to how do you improve your skills and start implementing those skills, and how do you get that experience which you get only while working on different clients, different accounts, different geographies. I will share the link again. Please, guys, go through it. Like Swati is asking the question. So Swati, please use the link which I has provided. Uh, Nidhi is asking more about Google Ads Academy. So please, how do we go ahead with the certification? So Nidhi, there are two ways. You should use your personal Gmail ID, which you also use for LinkedIn, because the same ID you can actually display your certificates and everything on LinkedIn. It's very important that you keep updating your certificate, because these certificates have a 1 year expiry. So if there's a 1 year expiry, uh, it's always the time that you're applying for the job, you should be updated with the certificates. One, the second is, like I told you, right, don't go with was or the double click kind of a certification on Google Ads Academy, because it's not relevant. Even the affiliate mark part of it is not something I would recommend for a fresher. I would only recommend for a fresher the Google Ads fundamentals. Once you finish the fundamentals, you finish either search and everything. So you get a search certified, so you become display certified, you become mobile certified, right? So things like that. That's what I would recommend. But obviously, for this, you can also come to me directly in terms of what your personal background is and everything, so that I can understand whether you want to be a content, you want to be whether you're a creative person. So then I wouldn't recommend all of the certifications, right? But if you're a business analyst, then I would also recommend you to go for GA and Google Analytics, like thing as well, right? For that, what is that you need to prepare, because GA is something which very, very niche in terms of you know uh, right. So the difference between a hit and a click and a session, it's very niche. So Swati is asking for a mail ID or a phone mobile number. So Swati, you can book a consultation with the link here. I think Ayur has given you. Harsha is asking, does knowledge of law helps in digital marketing? Uh, it depends on which niche of digital marketing are you planning, because knowledge of law doesn't apply here to an extent, because every channel like Google has its own certain policies. Rather than law, there are policies that you need to adhere to. So for Facebook there are different policies, for Google it's different. Every channel has their own policies as to what is allowed on that channel, what is not allowed on that channel. So rather than knowledge of any particular law, you need to be very much aware of what policy is there in that channel. But that would come in the vertical part of the T-shaped marketer. So it depends on which channel you want to specialize in, or which genre you want to specialize in. Based on that is something that you can do, right? So that's I think that answers that question. Which is the best platform to run product ads on t-shirts? So that's what Mohit is asking. So Mohit, I assume that you're a business owner, or if you're not a business owner, you I mean, so there are two answers. Let's say if you're a business owner and you want to run your ads for t-shirts, I would advise you to first book a consultation with me, rather than me answering this question here, because it depends on what kind of t-shirts that you have, what's the pricing model, right? What are the geography that you're targeting? Based on that, what your budget is currently for your online marketing efforts. Based on that, I could recommend whether you need to have your own website, or you need to go through Amazon, or where you don't need to create your own website, right? So but you need to compromise on your margins. So it depends. There's going to be multiple answers before you can arrive at what is going to be the best platform. Otherwise, obviously, and if you have your own website, then obviously it depends on how much audience, like how much are the people aware of your product is, how much of brand searches happen for your brand. Based on that, how much should you spend on Google, how much should you spend on Facebook, how much should you spend on Instagram, right? There's no best platform, but yes, I mean, historically Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook have performed really good for t-shirts, right? Then Swati, thank you for the webinar. Have to leave now. It was really helpful. I will reach out for your consultation. Thanks a lot, Swati. I love the fact that you're really helpful. I'm going to look forward to the consultation that we're going to have tonight. Shankar, can you send us a coupon code so that you can have a session at a lesser cost? I think that is something that Ayur is going to answer to you. Ayur, please have a look at Shankar's question and let him know what, if there's any coupon code available for the same. Ayur, certificates will be for the paid webinar. Since this was a free webinar, we can't give certificate. There's going to be a paid webinar in January. You'll be notified via mail. So I think that answers to all those people who had a question regarding this. So I think we have certificates only for paid webinars, and there's going to be one in January. Okay, cool. Hemant has a question: is there a way we can replay it? We have answered this, but I joined the webinar. Okay, I think Hemant, what Ayur has said, there's going to be a recording of this webinar which is going to be mailed to you. But apart from that, there's going to be another webinar which is going to happen in January. So please be available for the webinar in January, so that we can always discuss that there. So Ayur will be sharing the link with you by tonight. So I think thanks, that helps you. Ed is going to be here in the Zoom app. I think Hemant, I don't know, you have to ask this with Ayur. Mostly it's going to be just shared on the email as a file, I think, which you can download and listen to. You said this one of. Oh, so Nirbhay, you want to ask me how do I do my sales for my services? So trust me, actually, I am more someone who believes more in service rather than my marketing efforts myself, because I currently it's a very organic thing that I have. I don't pick on any client. I only I only and choose which clients I want to work for. So, and mostly it's through referrals, because if I have one client that I've worked for, normally I always get around 10 referrals from each client. That's been an average. Let's say 8 to 10 referrals, out of which I select which more clients to work on. So we have a very lean startup model, and we work rather than clients. We actually look for brands and what stories to tell. Based on that, it's there. So now you can reach out to me directly if you have any particular question. I think Ayur said that we'll be closing this webinar in 5 minutes. So please use the Chase 40, which gives you a 40% discount on your first one-to-one meeting. So great. So I have a code here. So those guys who would like to use these code, you can use this code and book a one-on-one meeting with me, and you get, for your first meeting, I think you get a 40% discount. Great to have that code here. Thanks Ayur for the code. So Mohit, I have an e-commerce website. I have funky t-shirts mostly for college going clear. I'm interested in around 50K spends on this, but I have to get 10 to 15 orders. I mean, that's bad, because if you have spent 15,000 and you just got 10 orders, which means for one order you got 1,500, which is very bad. Rather, that means your ROI, I mean, I assume that your t-shirts must be, MRP must be 500, not more than 500, I think. So your ROI is negative. I mean, not negative. It's certainly less than one, which is not what Facebook normally gives. So Mohit should contact me directly. I think we could book on a consultation and maybe do an audit for you and see how can we help you, right? Uh, because your numbers look really bad. I mean, it should be much better than what you have managed so far. So that's why you should let the like a professional or the good digital marketer work it for you, rather than you learning for, I mean, and doing this. You should definitely learn what it is, because you need to ask your digital marketing agency the right questions, but you should focus on the core of your business as to how to improve your margins and how to make your brand revolve around a story and everything, right? So I think that's it. Most of the questions have been answered. I think now the time is to close the webinar. So thanks a lot, guys. I hope you guys had a great time. So with this, I end my webinar. Hope to see you back in January. If any person wants to join again, miss something, wants to help his friends join this, so great. Thanks a lot, guys. It was great speaking with all of you, answering all your questions. See you on January with your more of your friends, and I hope to see you guys on the consultations as well. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot. Hope you had a great night. Bye.